please welcome to the stage Ms. Sydney Brumfield, and she is a freshman at Radnor High School. Tonight she will be discussing an unlikely yet simple solution to the everyday problems of life. And here is Sydney with her talk, What If We Smiled More?
Hi. What is smiling? Well, smiling is the body's natural reaction to anything that brings you happiness or bliss. So you see your favorite color or a funny line in a movie, you will often smile. And what happens when you smile is the brain has nerve systems that will move the muscles in your cheeks upwards, which releases endorphins throughout your entire body, which has a number of benefits that most people don't really know about. So smiling is a wonderful thing that increases your mood. It's widely accepted and known by a number of people in the medical field. And one researcher went in and did a Botox experiment. So what he did was he took 10 people who were suffering with depression and he inserted Botox in their cheekbones. So what Botox does, as you can see in the pictures here, is it raises your cheek muscles and it raises the skin. So like what the brain does is when you have the Botox in, it would naturally release the endorphins, which would make you feel happier. So his results from the experiment were that he found that 9 out of the 10 patients were no longer depressed. And as you can see here, it just shows naturally well, not naturally, but it lifts the cheeks up, which then releases the endorphins. Another thing that smiling does is it affects others' moods. So not only is it affecting yours, but as you're just walking down the hallway and you pass someone, you see them, you can smile at them, which is a great thing to do because you will be spreading your happiness to another person who might be having an awful day, because it happens to all of us. So the danger of this, though, is that frowning also works the same way. So as you're walking down the hallway and you pass by someone and you're scalding because you're having a bad day as well, it affects them in the bad way as well. So if we smile more, it'll affect our mood in a positive way and also affect others. Another thing that smiling does is that it relieves stress. So I know a number of people in here are probably dealing with daily stress from work or home life situations or school. And what a lot of us don't know is that if we took a moment and were able to stop and smile, then we would often relieve ourselves of a lot of stress and be able to deal with the problem at hand. And doing so, even right now you can test it. If you just sat, took a deep breath and smiled, you'd often be relieved of a lot of stress that you just might be carrying in that moment. This was tested and also put into making you more productive in a study in an office workspace. So they split the office in half, and they took half the office into one conference room, took the other one into another one. And so in conference room 1, they showed the group of people a quick 10-minute comedy. The group of people were told to relax and not worry about anything, just focus on the comedy. And all of them found it quite funny, and they went back to work. In the other conference room, it was the same number of people, and they were given an initial amount of money to start the experiment. And they were told, do as many math problems as possible in a 10-minute period, and however many you get right, you will get an additional amount of currency. So, as you can imagine, the people in conference room 2 were experiencing a lot more stress than the people in conference room 1. But just like in conference room 1, they were asked to go back to work. The results of this show that in conference room 1, the people reported feeling a lot happier afterwards because they had just witnessed something funny, and over the past 10 minutes, their face had been contorting into the smile. So they were having their stress relieved, and then they were able to go back to work and be more productive if their daily routine that they had to go through. In conference room 2, they reported that going back to work felt like a chore, that they had to go back and kind of dig back into the work, and that it was hard for them to get centered on their work again. So what they saw after looking at the number of files both groups got done was that conference room 1 was 12% more effective than conference room 2, and conference room 2 was 10% less effective. I don't see, after hearing all this wonderful stuff about smiling, why we all wouldn't just take a second out of our busy days to sit back and smile some more. Thank you.